Hi, so I have like 10 minutes to do this, so let's see what I can do. So I'm here to review Reboot and Rebel by Amy Tintera. And basically, this series is in a kind of future-y world where this disease happened, and as a result of it, if you die, you have the chance of rebooting. It's kind of like a zombie story where you come back to life, but you're different. And our main character is a girl named Ren, and she died and came back to life 178 minutes later, which is like one of the longest reboots ever. Like, she was dead for a very, very long time. And the longer you're dead, the more of your humanity you lose. So reboots are normally, like, they're stronger and they have more like agility and all of those things, but also they lose their emotions and what makes them human almost. So there is a government organization that uses reboots, the kids, to like police people and everything. So it's about the struggle against the government and what it means to be human. And Ren meets this guy named Callum, and he's a new reboot, and he was only dead for 22 minutes, so he's like practically human. And she starts training him to be a reboot, and their interactions makes her question everything she's ever known. I gave Reboot 3 stars and I gave Rebel 4 stars. I definitely think it was an enjoyable series. I would recommend it, but there's definitely some weaknesses in it. I felt the love story was a little like rushed, kind of. Like, the love story really propels a lot of the movement in Reboot, and it just didn't make sense to me. I just didn't appreciate that how much Ren was changed by Callum in her life. Like, I wanted her to be a more independent person. That being said, as an aside, that does get better in the second book. Both characters kind of grow and mature as the second book goes on, and in turn, their relationship grows. The second book also has dual POV, which is nice and I appreciate, but especially for like the first half of the book, it's really hard to distinguish it, because as much as Ren makes decisions based on Callum is like constantly thinking about what Ren wants and what Ren would do, and he like never thinks about himself. So when I'm reading his POV, I feel like I'm reading hers, and it was just really hard. But eventually he grows and starts to be like his own human being, and that's when I was able to start to distinguish. Also, I think through the majority of the series, a lot of things are too easy. Like, everything just lines up perfectly for the characters. There's not a lot of loss. There's not a lot of just high stakes, really. Like, things don't feel as intense as they should, and the characters get things. This world is more intense than their luck should allow. I feel like they get away with a lot of stuff. I also thought that there were just way too many characters, especially in the second book, Rebel. This is not a huge book. They're only just like over 300 pages, and there was just too many characters in here. I would just get so confused about who I was reading about and like who they were. Did I like them? Did I not like them? Were they good? Were they bad? And it was just, if the book had been long, there either needed to be less characters or the book needed to be longer, and they needed to be better developed. So I just struggled with that. On to the good things. So I did like where the story started to go in Rebel. Callum and Ren deal with these like really intense emotional internal struggles, both individually and as a couple, and I really, really enjoyed those. I feel like that's horrible because they're pretty just tough struggles, but I thought that it was really honest, and I enjoyed that we addressed those things. I also liked the way that it looked at human behavior. So an example of this is that normal people are like afraid of reboots, and I think that's very normal. Like, whether or not their reboots are good or bad is your decision to make reading, but I think it's very human to want to lock up and study and figure out what's going on with something you don't understand. And so I liked that Amy Tintera wasn't afraid to go there, and just the way she looked at all human behaviors. Like, there's a rebellion going against the government, but all of those people are not good people. Like, or they're not like teen reboot. I appreciate that, like it's very honest. There's also some humor, like these are not super intense, dark, like dystopian-y reads. But they're fairly dramatic, but they have humor and like appropriate points to like alleviate like the tension and everything, so it's not too intense. I also really liked Callum. I think in a way he kind of defies gender roles. The role he plays is kind of, in my opinion, in fiction normally a feminine role, where he's the one who's more emotional and thinks more about other people, and he's the one that propels our cold character to change. And I feel like a lot of times the guy is the one who's just like, no, I'm tough and I'm gonna do and then the girl is like, oh no, but I'm here and I'm sweet and gentle and I'm going to change you. And it's kind of like the opposite in this, which I thought was interesting and different, and I appreciated that. Also, I thought that the resolution was really good. I thought it was perfect, like especially in the world of dystopians where things can be a little like at the end. I thought this was definitely a better conclusion and wrapped things up in a very nice, believable way for our world as a whole and the main characters. Like I said before, I would definitely recommend them, but maybe as like a library book or something, or if you can get them off Book Outlet. Well, Rebel just came out like fairly recently, so you probably wouldn't be able to get that. But if you're looking for like a lighter dystopian, then I think you might like them. Like if you're kind of into the selection, because it's not as like intense as say the Legend series or the Hunger Games, but you want more of like the Rebel action-y things that you didn't get in the selection, then you might like this. And it definitely has a fairly substantial amount of romance, so I don't think you'd be disappointed there. Thank you for watching. If you've read Reboot or Rebel and have anything to say, let me know down in the comments. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye!